I got a little thing to read through first. So thank you for attending this meeting, which will be confidential, informal, and orderly. It's all right if I close the door, nobody will read it.
No objections.
So, I'm Sergeant Josh Ludwig. I have been designated as the Complaint Resolution Officer for this complaint. To prepare for this meeting, I've talked with both of you, talked with officers recollecting their event, and I've also watched the body cam footage. So I would like to discuss issues concerning this complaint. I will also explain my findings and share my decision at the end. The goal in revisiting the issues is to alleviate any misunderstandings resulting from this complaint and to attempt to avoid future similar situations. As a representative of the Springfield Police Department, I want you to know that the safety and well-being of the public and of our employees is foremost in our minds, and that maintaining a desirable relationship with those we serve is very important. Regarding our roles in this session, I will summarize the complaint and ask each of you for input. Open participation is encouraged and sought. Our department wants to gain greater understanding of citizens' perceptions of the department's role and function. This meeting is also meant to provide the citizen with better understanding of the officer's concerns. You will both be given an opportunity to discuss issues and concerns as you see them and present suggestions regarding future similar situations. I will need you to sign a consent to participate form to continue the meeting so that we may accomplish our goals as effectively as possible and without confusion. I must ask that you follow very simple ground rules. There's two rules in here. These aren't written by me, but to me they say the same thing. But rule number one, only one person may speak at a time. And then rule number two, each person must be allowed to speak without interruption, which to me says the same thing, but everybody agree to follow the rules?
Yes.
All right. So I would ask that each person try to be open, forthright, and honest. Please understand that perceptions are often distorted by emotions. Please keep in mind that consensus may not be reached, but an agreement to disagree is acceptable. I will begin by recalling the issues of the complaint. We will start with the complainant, followed by the officer. Each of you will give your perspective with your respect to the event or incident and the circumstances. I will announce my decision and explain what factors were taken into account. All right, so I will start with you. And you were, I saw it on the body cam, you were there, right?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't there for the whole.
Right, but you were sitting at the parks bench, I believe. So, yeah, this is made for really like one complainant and one officer, but if you don't mind, I'll have you sign the date there to agree to participate. You can read through it, it's real short, but just right where it says complainant there, the date is 9/12. And then both of you will sign over, just write a little small and sign over there. And you want to participate and talk, or you just want to watch?
I might have a thing or two to say. It just depends on how things go. For the most part, I'm just helping him with stuff that he might not.
Quite understandably.
All right, so we'll just have you sign right there as a witness. Amanda, what's your last name?
Sherman, G-R-M-A-N.
Get that out of the way. All right, so I'm just gonna read through the complaint that you sent in first, and then I'll let you talk about it. All right, so here's the complaint you sent in, and it says, I gave the officer the middle finger, and he told me that it was disorderly conduct, which is false. It is protected under the First Amendment of the United States of America, which he swore the oath to uphold. don't know the name of the colored female officer who was driving 50 in a 45 with no lights on while transporting me, who had a warrant, and yourself. If you want proof of speeding, dash him, or on the citation, the number on the citation is in that case citation. That was the extent of the complaint.
Although there's more, there's probably more in that complaint that should have been in there, but at the time I couldn't think of it.
So why don't you go ahead and talk us through your perspective?
My perspective, they should have never bothered with me after I give them the middle finger, period, in any way, because it is protected under the First Amendment. And I know it for a fact. And it states I can sue for this aspect. And I can sue. And if I choose to sue, you're going to have to deal with it. But also, there were some more violations in there. Cocky, arrogant. Your egos are going to get the city in big trouble. Both of you. Laughing and snickering. We got him on a warrant because we violated his rights. I mean, there's other complaints I can go to. Like your little trespassing people at MSU. The state law and the city ordinance says they have to have signs and a fence. I'm not totally dumb, guys. You thought I was just a homeless guy who didn't know shit.
So I'm going to just get some clarifying questions here. So are you arguing that if you committed some sort of offense and then you give the officers the finger afterwards?
I give them the finger.
Let me finish my question. If you commit some sort of offense and then you give them the finger afterwards, they're not allowed to contact you because that's freedom of speech?
In this aspect, I give them the finger before anything. But in my defense, by your city ordinance, they couldn't have detained me anyway. Not using a crosswalk in a manner only pertains to a certain time period and certain street speed limits. It is a half an hour. Am I not right? A half an hour before daylight?
That's not actually accurate, but we'll...
Oh, it's in your ordinance. I'll bring it up in my phone because I have every city ordinance and I have every state ordinance bookmarked in my phone. So that was an unlawful detainment.
So here's the other parts of that. I mean, I'll let them talk to you if they want, but I've watched the video. So if you're on MSU property,
I was not on MSU
or
property.
standing in the roadway, either of those is an offense. So it was either one or the other. So either one of those is an offense. Right?
Then why did he keep trumping up stuff to get me on when I contested him on everything, like the disorderly and the blocking the road?
Here's the thing I'll say about that. He never said disorderly. We can watch the body cam footage. I'll let you...
Oh, yes, he did.
Go ahead, talk and tell them what-
Yes, he did.
So whenever we were on our way to the parking lot, which we routinely check because MSU has asked us to, because lots of people have been seen trespassing on that property. We were flagged down by a bus driver, an MSU bus driver, who said they were unable to drive down the road because of people standing in the road. So when we were approaching, we saw 3 people that appeared to be on MSU property. So we pulled up, you and one other individual walked off. We first contacted the person that was lying on MSU property. As soon as she had his information, I then crossed the street to contact you. I never said disorderly conduct. That was never said. It's on body cam. It was never said. You immediately were flipping me off, and I advised you the reasons for contact, which was you were on MSU property. You then said I was not on MSU property. I was standing in the something street. And then I said, well, you can't do that either. That's blocking traffic. I then explained to you that you didn't fail to use the crosswalk. It was not an argument about, well, if it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. It was all the above. And then during the investigation, it was determined you had a warrant, at which time I placed you under arrest.
So you can do the same offense you're charging me for and call it justified.
mean following you, trying to detain you?
You are going to detain me in a fenced-in property.
We're not
Where was I
debating, I'm just
going?
saying what happened.
Where was I going?
Okay, Mr. Fox.
You created the same ordinance you give me
The rule
for.
is I get to talk, we are not debating, okay?
Mr. Fox, so I'm not even sure where you're going with that question. Where you were going in the future was not an issue. You had already done some things in the past.
Your guys are acting above the law.
Okay. Now, he didn't mention, what he said was peace disturbance, okay? Not disorderly conduct.
He said disorderly conduct.
We can watch the body cam footage if you'd like, where he said peace disturbance.
Because he was walking in front of his car when he said it.
Okay. He was actually standing right next to you over in the Jordan Valley. You want to watch the body cam footage? So that we can straighten out the disparity of how you're remembering things?
Probably have to log in.
If you want to do that, you'll have to stop it.